Previously, in the anime, the all-girls academy thought Kimito was a gay and chose him to enroll in their academy to teach the rich and noble girls about commoner's life, and Kimito has to lie about his gender preference or else Miyuki threatened him she would cut his little buddy down. So with that threat, Kimito begins his new school life among rich and noble ladies, and the first to join the harem was Reiko. Well, she has no flaw aside from being way too simple, and the second was Aika, an introvert who became an extrovert only around Kimito. The third one was Hakuya, a lowly genius who likes to strip down whenever she begins to write down an equation, and the fourth is a knucklehead, Karen. She's a swordswoman but she's only lethal to clothes, and she once tried to pick a fight with Kimito and showed her power, but Kimito beat her with some luck, and Karen took Kimito as her master from then on. But, while four girls were showing their affection, Kimito was somehow saving his little buddy from Miyuki. But Hakuya kept coming over to Kimito's room to spend time with him. She does it every day, and Kimito lets her have her way. It kept irritating Reiko and Aika that Hakuya wasn't letting Kimito spend time with them as she hogs him all to herself, and when Kimito once gets into something with others, Hakuya starts stripping down to take Kimito's attention. It was getting scary to the point where both rivals were agreeing to each other. But Karen was more mad that Kimito had Hakuya's attention and not her. It was getting out of hand. So they decided to talk to Hakuya and goes to Kimito's room. They made up that Kimito was on an errand and it would take a while, but they stopped Hakuya from leaving and convinced her to stay, but she was ignoring the three like they were thin air in the room, and so Reiko tried to grab her attention with treats, but Hakuya stays the same. So Karen thought Hakuya eats only when someone feeds her, because Kimito tends to feed her every time, but no response even when she tried. So Karen puts on Kimito's clothes to mimic him. But again no response. She's completely stranger if Kimito isn't around. So the next day, Kimito was going on with some dating sim game, and Aika walked in and felt creepy, but Kimito explained the game to her and told her that the voiceover in this game is done by his childhood friend, so he was trying it out. So Aika gives it a try, hearing the realism about the game, and fell for the game, but Kimito goes off to the office for some work and Reiko gets there. She was reading one of Yuri manga, and both decided to browse through Kimito's kitchen to eat something, but they saw a soda bottle and got curious how it tastes like. Then again, they are rich nobles so they don't know how it tastes, and first time trying soda was sure to give them this reaction as they threw up on each other, so they stripped down because their clothes were all sticky, but Reiko wanted to help Aika and they fell down together, so Aika got angry on Reiko and her size. She just snapped, and while fighting each other, Kimito apologized for walking in at a wrong time, and since then, the misunderstanding never got cleared, and the story goes on. After some time, the school prepared a theme park for the trip, so now was the time for Aika to shine, and Kimito encouraged her to make friends in this trip, and surprisingly, the school just created an entire duplicate of the city block for ladies, that's called Money's Blessings, so girls were learning to be commoners around the area. And when it comes time for them to learn to place an order at McDonald's, they were having a bit of a hard time picking something from the menu. So Kimito came over to help her out. Then after getting the order, Kimito felt as if he was traveling through the world with all the taste and flavors filled in the burger, but that was completely wrong way of how things work, so he snapped because burger at local area tastes like crap, so he wanted to give a piece of his mind to chefs, but Aika was still all on her own. Then they went to an arcade and he knew Aika was good at dancing games, but others were stuck at crane machine game, and other girls were having Kimito show them the games around, but after a while he saw Aika was gone. So he shows the girls how dance game works, and it got their attention, but the girls weren't doing great, so Aika came over and taught them how it's done, and as a result, Aika finally got something to talk about with others, and from then on she shines on the topic of a commoner's things. And after a while, they goes to a clothes shop and Kimito saw Karen was fawning over some clothes, but she's way too embarrassed to try it on. She says no, but her body says otherwise. Kimito tried to convince her to try it on, so she took out her sword, but Kimito reminds her about their last duel and Karen got scared again, so taking advantage of that, Kimito ordered her to strip down instantly, and told her to try out the pair. That did make her happy and goes to change it out, and looking at her, Kimito goes into his wild imagination of his holy land with Karen. He honestly comments Karen that she looks great in them, but she's a tsundere type, who always hides what she's feeling and ran off. Then the day goes on with the madness and ends with a pretty silence, but the next day, Miyuki again kept waking up Kimito in the weirdest way as she admits she doesn't want Kimito to wake up, and the trip goes on again. Aika had surely made a lot of friends. So Kimito thought it's time to end the Commoners Club. The point, they made this club so that Aika could become famous to make friends, so the goal was achieved now, and after that, Kimito goes to have a bath and Aika walked in there. It was actually boys' time for the bath, but girls loved the bath so they decided to visit again, so Aika hides Kimito somehow behind her, but staying underwater is hard. Aika keeps herself in front to hide Kimito behind her, but boy sure was getting a nice feel from all the gentle touch, but unknowingly, Aika was suffocating Kimito to hide him. And finally when the girls left, Kimito was also preparing to leave this world, so Aika tried to give him a CPR, and a girl comes back to ask Aika to hang out and saw her and Kimito. And from then on, the rumor game begins, and everyone started to think Aika and Kimito are going out, so Aika tells the whole story to Reiko and others about the misunderstanding to clear things up, but aside from them, Miyuki was a head maid, and a girl at the academy noticed she's actually from a noble family yet she's working as a maid, but Miyuki tells her that's personal reason and goes to wake up Kimito. She kisses the guy every day to wake him up like this. Then there was another girl in harem, and as the day began, Kimito showed a fortune teller's app to Aika, and it told her that her lucky color is green, so she dressed up like an alien for good luck and made a fool of herself, but then she showed it to the others, but the app had other features as well, like a love meter, so the girls were enthusiastic for trying it out, and since there was only Kimito around as a boy, everyone agreed to try it out with him. Aika got 80% on the love meter, but Reiko certainly got 90%, which means much more compatible with Kimito, which ticks off the rivalry again. But then Kimito tried with Karen and score reaches completely 100%, more so the app suggested her to make an aggressive move to make the guy her own, so Aika and Reiko got to the point that the app is just fake and not believe on it, and just like that the cat fight begins. So the next day, Karen just wants to make a move as the app said to become aggressive to make her love strong, but she clearly misunderstood the aggressive part, and attacks with her full power to showcase her ability. But she saw her move had made a cut on Kimito's shirt, so she invited him to her room as she knew sewing. Her room was ordinary in a traditional way, but she told Kimito to turn around. Kimito could guess from the noise what she was doing, and when she was done, he saw the clothes Kimito liked on her. She actually bought it. Then she patched up his shirt, but she saw his t-shirt also had a cut, so Karen forced the guy to remove it just so she could patch it up as well. But she was surprised to see that Kimito didn't have that much strong muscle yet. He defeated her with so ease. She wanted to learn swordsmanship from her childhood, but others made fun of her because she was a girl, so Kimito told her not to feel that way because she's one of the strongest girls he's ever seen, and also, he finds her beautiful and admirable because she works so hard for her dream. That was a smooth move, but the girls came in, so the two hides in the closet, and with so little space around, they fell out. But Aika saw a wrestling video on Kimito's phone and Kimito made he was doing some fortune telling like the video shows. They really took it seriously, and Aika locked him to know her own fortune. That's some madness yet again. But our video ends right here, but stay tuned to watch the last part of the recap, and until then, take care.